Lizzo special album review. Let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest album from Lizzo. You know who the hell she is by now. She barely needs an introduction. She's been putting out music since the mid-2010s. She started gaining some traction around the time of albums like Lizzo Bangers. And it's an album that I had a lot of thoughts on at the time. Wasn't that keen on the production. I thought some of the beats were a little dime a dozen, and some of the more hip-hop leaning tracks I thought were tacky. But at the same time, Lizzo herself really did impress me. Her natural charisma and her big personality is just what I was looking for at the time. And I had almost the same exact feelings on her Big Girl Small World album. Now, I will say this. 2019's 'Cause I Love You, it's by far her best album. All around, it just seems so more focused overall. She seemed to know what she was doing a whole lot more, and the singles here were really great. I still think that Juice is the best track that she's ever put out. It landed in my top 20 singles of the year, which leads me to this new album, which was a pretty hyped release, but leading up to it, I thought that, I don't know, she could have done better with dropping some decent singles. That being said, let's chat about it. I will say this is far from a bad album. Lizzo has a sound, and when she's on point, she really has a special sound. Like, I may be in the minority, but about damn time, I still love it. You're getting the 90s throwback beat, you're getting the big personality, you're getting the big hook, you're getting Lizzo. This is a great sound. Her vocals too, this is sharp. All around, this is where I like hearing her. It's very poppy though. If you're not into it, I certainly get it, but take all of that, put it up against her, very usual themes of self-care, self-love, healing as well, and you got a great single. And that extended flute solo, I'm here for it. I also really love To Be Loved, Am I Ready? I love the upbeat groove here. I love the once again themes of self-love. It's a very upbeat and peppy tune. Very positive too. I mean, Lizzo can really rock this shit. This hook is awesome. The production's really great too. It's so simple, but when she is locked in on this groove, it is so obvious and I can't even say no. It's a great track. I think this album's title track, Special, also is really good. It's a very classy, throwback, sort of 90s sounding R&B jam, one that I would, grown up with. And honestly, it's groovy as hell, and she sounds so sure of herself in the best way. Her performance is fantastic, and honestly has really great meaning behind it about loving yourself no matter what. It's a track that just feels like a happening. It's got this big, gaudy beat, and once again, her vocals are great. I have a lot of the same feelings on Break Up Twice. Once again, this is a throwback R&B jam ripped right out of the 90s, but done really tastefully. And it's a sound that I think she can really nail because her vocals here are fantastic. It's full of soul and passion. I dig a lot of this track. Once again, the production's really nice too. For a real emotional ballad, look no further. But much like her last releases, the same issues I feel like continue to haunt me. Like The Sign as an intro, this did not hit me very well. I mean, listen, once again, the themes of self-love and healing, it's always something I'm going to salute when it comes to Lizzo. But this just doesn't seem to have the same pop to it. Like, half of the tracks on 'Cause I Love You did this so much better. This literally sounds like a Lizzo soundboard getting played over at a below average instrumental. Yeah, not for me. Also, girls, I haven't been into it at all. I'm sorry, but is it just me or can Lizzo do a lot better? This is supposed to be this anthem, but it just ends up really falling really flat. I mean, take the themes on this track and put it up against like 6 other tracks here, and they're so much more impactful than this. She has done this exact track like 8 other times, and the other 8 times have been so much better. And I Love You Bitch is probably my least favorite track here. Like, this is everything that I'm not into about Lizzo pushed into one track. And it's a shame because when you really break everything down, a lot of like the bare bones of this track are kind of what she does usually. But this instrumental is dime a dozen. There's no personality, and very quickly this becomes a cheesy mess. I mean, there's certainly some good late album moments, but I'm still not 100% sold on this. I mean, Everybody's Gay, I actually really love this track. This track is spicy good. It's a throwback pop banger that has this big 80s riff. It reminds me a lot of what I liked about Juice. But outside of that, it's really tasteful, it's really powerful. I mean, she definitely has, more than a few moments of brilliance on this album. But then we get tracks like Naked, and I'm just right out of the loop again. I mean, on one hand, this is a tender, very emotional ballad that once again dives right into self-love. But it's everything else about this track that just turns me off. This ho-hum melody in her vocals that don't seem up to snuff. On the other hand, I actually like the beat, the groove, and the production on Birthday Girl quite a bit. It's Lizzo I'm not sold on here. Her vocals are very average once again, and her personality isn't shining through. and my God, is it ever cheesy? There's not a lot of medium to this album. If You Love Me Though is a really good risk. This is a weird track for her. It's sort of like a breezy folk tune, and a lot of the same themes show up here. That's fine, you know. They're always very powerful. And there are one or two really cheesy lines that I was not a fan of, cheesier than I would expect actually. But actually, I do like this track overall. There's a little bit of a shift up for Lizzo, and it's an experiment that I wish she took more of. And her performance is commendable. And Coldplay is a really cute finale too. This track is really sweet. It's full of love, and it honestly has I don't know, this sense of innocence to it as well. It's also worked very nicely around a Coldplay sample, very classic Coldplay sample. It's done really classy. It ends off the album on a really nice, positive note. I wish I could have loved this album. I wish I could just adore a Lizzo album, but a lot of the same issues just pop up time and time again with me. Great tracks here. When her personality shines, it is awesome because that is one of her best features. Her vocals are usually pretty good, and the themes of this album are things that we need to hear more of. It's just the consistency that I'm not a fan of. You know, there's some tacky tracks, there's some corny lines. I really wish that I could just love this album, but it's very average for me right now. I'm feeling a decent 6 on this album. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.